Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughened him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
Is the next search on February 28, 2020? 7:44 p.m. How period does the FBI find people? The people is misspelled P-E-O-O-P-L-E. Did the defendant find out how the FBI finds people in this case? Or she found out?
What more do we need to see? Because he's the guy!
Alrighty. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Court of Public Opinion. Thank you very much for being here. I didn't get much done that I was supposed to during lunch. I did the homework with the rest of y'all. I did. I wasn't going to assign you something to do and then not do it myself. I thought that would be not be fair at all. So I did the homework with the rest of y'all.
The zombie apocalypse may be upon us.
As soon as I ended the live stream, I'm like, okay, cool. I've got to run to the post office. I've got to actually ship something off to my son, and then check the PO box. And as I'm like leaving, I hear, "Bye, love you, beep beep beep," a back door, and my wife left, and she took the car, and so she's still gone. So I went out to the kitchen, and everyone had just finished eating lunch, and all the food was cleaned up, and there was nothing out there. And I went through the cupboards, and the cupboards were bare. She's gone shopping, and she took the car, and there's no other car here because my son has the other one, and so I was not able to go to the post office. I do apologize. Hopefully I'll be able to go tonight if we get some time. I think we're going to watch day 2 up till lunch now of this court case. But I have to say I was very, very impressed with what we've seen so far in the thumbnail as we look at this here. We've got things are starting to make sense to me a little bit as we're looking at this. As you look at different items, I can see why suddenly see how the car's jacked up because it was a carjacking. It's a lift, like Lyft driver. Just little things. The paper rustling, the judge's gavel way back there in the back, the time flying because we're speed watching the trial. I think that's what it is. The telephone. Not sure why the telephone's there. We also have the cell phone store, but there's a pink pants and a puffer jacket on the clothesline back there. Good stuff all over the place. The juror's sleeping, and the son is also sleeping. Not sure why. The security camera on the gas station, just lots and lots of good references there. So great work on that, those who were involved. I've actually made I'm not sure if you're able to do this who are actively working on this. You might periodically make a copy of it in case a troll comes in and finds the link and tries to wreak havoc with it. So just know. And also, look at this. The name, the Trooper trial, it's Trooper North trial. I missed that for some reason, but I see that now. It's Trooper North's trial. Wonderful. I was super excited. We also have this to go on. Jasmine Maduro. Jasmine. Congratulations. You are the winner of the internet today. The way it works, even if you're not first, the internet can be gifted one time, and it was gifted to you. You cannot re-gift this. So unfortunately, you are now stuck with this for good, better, or worse. You are now the internet owner until we go live again, which will probably be tomorrow morning. So hopefully you're up for the overnight shift because that's what you're on the hook for. So congratulations. I believe this is the first offense for you, winning the internet. Congratulations and good luck and a little bit of good riddance. I'll push that all off on you, so you can handle all that. Super excited for that. Mary Kay gifted 5 memberships just to kick off the lunch hour. Thank you, Mary Kay. That is very, very generous. The thumbnail looks great. It is wonderful. Super excited for that. We're going to keep an eye on that as we go. I need to run to the post office sometime. The problem is when I got my post office box, they said, "Is there anyone else you'd like to have come get your mail?" I'm like, "No, I don't want somebody to come get my mail." And so I left it blank. And now Mrs. R.A. is not on the approved list to get my mail, so I could send her, but they're like, "No, you're not Recovery Addict. because they know every time I go, the postmaster, he's like, "Hey, what's on your channel today? What are you following?" He asks me, and I tell him. And so when my wife goes and says, "Hey, box 775," he'd be like, "Oh no, that's not you. I know what he looks like, and it is not you." Is what he'll say. Who is this lady? So I have to go myself. But anyway, I said I was going to run. By run, I mean like gently walk out to the car and then drive the rest of the way. Yeah, but I use the term run loosely. I think that's all I can say. I use it quite loosely. It's no. You guys, your definition does not match my definition. Have the mailman come to you? I could, but then that defeats the whole purpose of the post office box. All right, let's see. Where are we? We're ready to start trial, actually, right now. So we're going to kick this off and in style, get some audio going. Here we are. There I am. Oh, I guess I'm already there.
We'll just quickly go that.
Let me see if I can do this transition.
Is it working? Okay.
Yeah. Here we go.
Technical details.
You know,
Yeah, he's getting somebody getting
photo of his car. I can show him.
Here's what the transition is supposed to look like as we wait for court to start. It's supposed to look like this. Zoom.
If we don't,
Zoom. I don't know why we looked at the wall there, but treehouse status hearing right now. Yes, we'll see if we get a date out of this one. Keep your ear to the ground on that one, Breezy.
Could we, the parties stipulate that we have 6 jurors and 3 alternates?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is the state prepared to begin?
yes.
Mr.
Our next
Devlin.
witness is Daniel Green.
Right up this way, sir, please. Right over to that marshal, please.
Morning, sir. Please remain standing and
May you please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or solemnly sincerely affirm, as the case may be, that the evidence you should give concerning this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or upon penalty of perjury?
Yes.
May you please state your first and last name for the record?
Daniel Green.
May you please spell out your last name for the record?
D-A-N-I-E-L.
May you please state your address for the record?
I live on Sesame Street, next to Ernie and Bert.
Mr. Green, and pull yourself up to the microphone so we can all hear you well.
Okay.
Mr. Green, good morning.
Good morning.
Directing your attention to January 15th, 2020, how were you employed?
By Lyft?
Lyft car service?
Yes, sir.
All right. And on that day, were you working for Lyft car service?
Yes, I was.
And what area of the state were you working in?
Norwalk area.
Norwalk area?
Yeah.
Okay. Lyft has an app, right? An app is used to sort of hire someone to get a ride from Lyft car service?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how does that work? Can you just describe it, how a customer would try to get a ride through Lyft and how you would learn to pick the person up?
Please explain technology
so the
to me.
app will send you a notification, and then it's your decision if you want to take the ride. So, and that at the time I have a passenger on board, I accept the ride because I was close by.
Okay, so you got a notification that somebody wanted a ride.
Yes, sir.
You were in the area and you accepted that as a possible person to use your car service.
Yes.
All right. And so, where did you pick the person up?
I went to the Sprint store on Main Street.
Sprint or AT&T?
AT&T Sprint, the front store.
Okay.
It's all the
store
same.
on Main Avenue. Okay. And was the person there to be picked up?
It all depends. What happened was the GPS sent me to a different location. So I have to call the passenger. And then the passenger let me know that there was across the street, a distance away from where the GPS
may be upon us.
Okay, so the GPS took you to one location. The customer was not there.
There wasn't there.
You called the customer, and you learned where the customer was?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and did you go to that location?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and what happened there?
When I got there, the passenger came out, and he let me know that he was purchasing a new phone, and it was it was dead, and it was just he was trying to get some charge, and he asked me if I could wait on him.
Okay, did you agree to wait?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and can you describe this person? What do you look like, this customer?
He looked pretty young. He don't look like he having a beard. His face was clean.
Clean shaven?
Yeah, he was skinny, about maybe 5'6". I don't know. I think he probably was taller than that because I was in the car still.
Okay. And African American?
Yeah, African American.
Okay. And what would you say is age? Young? You said the age was young. A young person?
Yeah, it gotta be like in this, say, between 18, 19, and that area maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so, at some point, did this person get into the back seat of your car?
Yes, he did.
All right. And did you, through the Lyft sort of communication system, accept him as a ride?
Yes, I did.
And how do you get information about the location to drive to?
Lyft would put it inside the app that once you press the request to pick the passenger up, it would just send it to the drop-off location. Okay.
And do you get instructions as to how to go to the drop-off location?
Yeah, turn by turn.
Turn-by-turn GPS location? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. And does it take some time for that information to come to you in the car?
It depends on where you are, yes.
Okay. And did it take some time with respect to this particular instance?
Yes, it did. Yeah.
Okay. And so you're waiting there to get the information as to where to go?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what happened next?
The passenger told me to drive. And I said to him that I have to wait until when the GPS clear first so I could know what direction to turn, left or right.
Okay. He wanted you to drive. You needed directions as to where to drive to.
Yes.
Okay. And while you're waiting, well, did you ultimately get the directions as to where to go?
Yeah. Eventually, the app cleared me and let me know that I'm supposed to go left.
Okay. And did you start driving away?
Yes, I started driving.
Okay. Did you notice anything as you were driving away from the AT&T store?
Yes, sir. There was as soon as I get on Main Street, there was an officer pulling up in right by where we just leave.
Okay, this is a Norwalk police officer?
Yes, sir.
All right. As you were driving on Main Avenue in Norwalk, what occurred between your passenger in the back and yourself? What happened there?
He asked me where was the phone, where was we going, and I said to him, I don't know. I have to follow the GPS, and the GPS let me know like where am I going. So he said to me, give me the phone. And I said, I'm not going to give him my phone. And then he slapped me right across my head. And then as I was driving, he started reach over from the back in the front, and I was driving. So I said to him, I said, you want the phone? I'm going to give you the phone. I said, sit back down. I'm going to give you the phone. And he said, yes, I want the phone. And then he sit back down.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're driving away, he asks you to use your phone, you say no, he slaps you on the side of the head?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then you say, I'll give you the phone, let me just pull over, basically?
No, I said to him, I'll give you the phone, just sit back down.
Okay.
I said, I'm going to give you the phone.
Okay.
You have to act like that. I'll give you the phone.
All right, so you agreed to give him the phone?
Yes.
But you didn't really, you were just telling him that, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so what happened next?
So he sit back down in the seat, and then I saw a gas station on the right. So I just pulled over in the gas station, and then I jump out the car.
Okay. So you pulled into a gas station.
Yes.
And you stopped your vehicle?
Yes.
And did you get out of the vehicle?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And at that time, were you legally carrying a firearm?
Yes, I
This is your firearm?
Yeah.
Okay. And so what did you do when you get out of the vehicle?
When I get out of the vehicle, I pulled my pistol, and I tell him to get out of my car.
Okay. And where were you standing when you did this?
I was standing, he was on the same side as me, which would be the driver's side on the left.
Okay. And what kind of car were you driving that day?
It was a Sonata, Hyundai Sonata.
Okay. And what color was it?
It was a white with a black top.
Okay. You're out of the car, you have your firearm, and you're ordering the passenger out of the car?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what happened next?
By the time I'm telling him to get in my car, I saw the same officer just pull up. He was pulling up. So I used one of my hand with my pistol, and I used my next hand to let him know that I'm in distress.
Okay. And so the officer pulled up in a police car right near where you were?
Yes.
Okay. And so one hand had the pistol, and the other hand you were giving the officer some signal?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what happened next?
He just jumped out the car and he started run over to my car.
Okay. And did you see what your passenger was doing?
Yes.
What was he doing?
He got out from the back passenger, and he walked right over to the driver's side, and he just went straight inside the driver's seat. And when he went inside the driver's seat, as he initiated the gear, my car door, it locked.
Okay, so that Hyundai, if you put it into drive, the car doors automatically lock?
Yeah, every door locked. Yeah.
Every door locks. Okay.
Yes.
And is that what happened?
That's what happened.
Okay. And did anybody make an effort to open the driver's door?
The officer tried to open the door. He got him in front of me, and he tried to open the door, and then he tried to break the window. He was banging on the window, trying to break the window, as he tried to pull the door handle, but it's not going to open. And then, yeah. And
then did the passenger drive away in your car?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
He looked at the officer, he smiled, and then he drove away.
I didn't hear that last part.
He looked at the officer, he smiled and then he just drove away.
Okay. And where did he drive?
He continued going up Main Ave, and then he make a right turn towards the bypass.
Main Avenue, and then took a right-hand turn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right by the stoplight, the first stoplight.
Okay. And what did you do?
Well, the officer ran over back to his car, so I started running over behind the officer, and then the officer drove away, started chasing him, and I started running on foot. I was on foot, and my car was gone. And the officer, he went after him.
So your white Hyundai drives Main Avenue and takes a right toward the connector?
Yes.
Okay. And the police officer is in their police car following?
Yes, sir.
And you're following on foot?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And so what happened next?
Okay, so in the opposite direction, there was two patrol cars coming to the
patrol cars?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what happened is, what I saw is the two patrol car that was coming from the opposite direction as my car. They tried to pin him down. Like, one was in the front, one on the side, and then the officer that was with me, he was right behind the car. And I saw the guy just drove around all three officers and gone.
Okay, so the officers tried to position their cars,
yes.
stopped the car, yes. And your passenger in your Hyundai drove around them?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay. Let's see, how do we do this? This is not an evidence, right? No. Yeah, no, it's your mom's stuff. Okay. So, exhibit number 103 is a photograph of the white Hyundai. I'd like to offer that as evidence at this time.
Yeah, just take a look at it to know which one.
103. Any objection to that?
No objection.
Okay. Thank you.
103, does ID?
103 ID.
Mr. Green, let me take a look at 103 for identification. Do you recognize that photograph?
Yes, sir.
And what is the photograph of?
That's my Hyundai Sonata.
Okay. A little damaged, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's your car?
That's my car.
Okay. Any objection to this being on?
No objection.
So, yeah. Please publish that on our screen.
That's a full exhibit, Mr. Devlin?
Yes, 103.
Stage 103 full.
103 full.
So, Mr. Green, this car, as you see here, looks like damage by the door, damage by the lower rocker panel here. Obviously, this window smashed out. None of that damage was on it, right, when you were driving it?
No, sir.
And I'd like to show you a portion of a video from the service station that was introduced yesterday to the jury. We play number 6. You just take a look at this for a moment.
Which exhibit? You want to?
This is number 6 at the Shell gas station. Stop it there, please, Andy. That's your car pulling into the gas station, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that you getting out of the car?
Yes, that's me.
Okay. Continue, please. That's the passenger getting from the back seat to the driver's seat?
Yes, sir.
And what's happening there?
That's the officer.
That's the police officer came up and tried to open the door?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. I have no further questions. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Riccio, would you like to cross-examine?
Yes, Your Honor. If I could just have a moment with Attorney Devlin.
Yes, sir.
I can approach Attorney Slade for a moment.
Yes.
Yes. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
My name is Frank Riccio. I represent Trooper
He really just wanted a moment.
So you just saw a video of what occurred at the Shell gas station. I've marked for identification a defense A, which is another clip from the Shell gas station. I believe by agreement it should be admitted.
No objection, Your Honor.
That's in.
So, sir, what I'm going to ask you to do is take a moment, please, and we're going to play a video for you. Please watch it, and then I'll ask questions, okay?
No problem.
What do you bet he asks questions during the video? Instead of...
Is that your car?
There it is.
That's my car.
While we can't see what's happening on the driver's side door, I'm going to ask you to look to the left of this screen. Is that the police officer pulling up?
Yes, sir.
Gets out of his car and runs over?
Yes.
Again, blocked by the pump, but I'll let this run out. Police officer jumps in his car, and drives away, correct?
Yes, sir.
You start running up the street.
Yeah.
To the right side of the screen, you see a series of police cars now heading in the direction that the car was driving.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Attorney Slade. So what we have here, as you testified, was you had the police, was virtually there as it was happening. The Norwalk police officer pulled up beside you, essentially, and saw this occurring, and then he ran up in an attempt to assist you, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, you got out of your car and you pulled your gun because you were scared, correct?
Yes, I was.
You were scared for your life.
100%.
In fact, you told police that when you were interviewed, that you pulled your gun because you were scared for your life.
Yes, I was.
And fortunately, you had a gun.
Yes.
You lawfully have that gun, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, when police ran up, he tried to open the door. You couldn't because it was locked.
Yes.
And I think I heard you testify that he tried to attempt to break the window.
Yes, he did.
Do you recall what it was that he used to try to break that window?
I don't remember, sir.
Okay.
But I know he was banging on the window. I think it was his fist. I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure. But he was banging on the window.
Do you recall, and I know that things happen in a split second there,
did.
but do you recall whether or not the officer either pulled out his weapon or showed his weapon? Not yours, but his. Did he pull out his weapon, if you recall?
I don't remember that. I don't remember seeing he pull his weapon. I think I was the only one about pull, but I'm not sure. I didn't remember he pulling his weapon.
All right, thank you. So I'm sort of going out of order. I'd like to go backwards now to discuss briefly the initial interaction you had with the man in the pink pants, I'll refer to him as, because clearly he was wearing pink pants. Can we agree on that? Now, while you waited outside the AT&T store for him to exit, did he enter and exit that store multiple times?
Yes, sir.
And when he exited that store, and this is prior to you leaving with him in it, did he come to you and try to talk to you?
He did talk to me.
Okay. And he was talking about getting a phone, right?
Yes.
At that point in time, at AT&T, prior to leaving, what was his demeanor like? Was he angry? Was he calm? What would you say?
He was calm.
Okay. Once he gets in the car, your Hyundai Sonata, and then you start driving away, that's when he started acting aggressively, correct?
Yes, sir.
In fact, again, you spoke to police, and you said that when the man in the pink pants got in the car, he aggressively and loudly said to you, "Drive, drive, drive." Am I correct in that?
Yes.
You're already scared, but you drive.
Yes.
You were waiting for the GPS to tell you where to go.
Yes.
He then tries to grab your phone. Or no, he hit you first.
No, he asked me for my phone first.
Okay.
And then when I tell him no, that's when he hit me.
Gotcha. Back of your head?
Yes.
Open palm?
Yeah. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. Now, the distance between this AT&T store and the Shell station, about 3 blocks?
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the same street?
Yeah, on the same street.
Now, you said you were going to give him your phone, and as you testified, it wasn't that you wanted to give him your phone. You were trying to calm him down.
Yes, sir.
Did that calm him down?
Yes, it did.
Momentarily?
Yeah.
Now, you pull into the Shell station 3 blocks away, and then the video sort of takes over from there.
Yeah.
But at the moment you're getting out of your car, you're afraid for your life, you draw your gun.
Yeah.
And he exited that car in a very eerily calm way, didn't he?
Yes, it did.
Calmly exited, calmly entered, while you have a gun pointed at him.
Yeah.
It didn't faze him in the slightest, did it?
No.
How would you discuss his appearance? Like when you're pointing a gun at this man and he's about to steal your car, what did he look like? Did he have any expression on his face?
It just looked normal.
Say again?
It looked normal, nothing.
Not bothered at all?
No.
He gets in the car, he drives away and smirks or smiles at the police officer.
Yes, he did.
Now, we saw a picture with States 103 of a white Hyundai Sonata. The picture you saw of it was pretty beat up, correct?
Yes, sir.
Lyft drivers buy their own cars, right?
Yes, sir.
So that was a car that you worked hard to buy.
Yes, sir.
It didn't look that way the morning of January 15th, did it?
No, it didn't.
How would you say its condition was? Was it in good shape?
Before that?
Before the incident that we're talking about today?
Yeah, it was a customized car because if you look at it, you could see that the caliper was spraying red. That was me, making it for me.
But that car was in good shape. The exterior of it was in good shape.
Yeah.
And you worked hard for that car.
Yeah.
All right, sir. I have no other questions. Thank you for your time.
Okay, sir.
No questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Green. You are excused. Thank you.
Okay.
Hopefully you got a new car after that.
May I offer defense A? It's been played. If I may approach the clerk.
If you would, yeah. This is what you need, right?
Defense A, marked as full.
Full exhibit.
Our next witness is Officer Daniel Vasquez. We're getting right now.
All right, police officer up next. Possibly one from the scene. Nova, the police officers are trained that within a certain range, a knife is just as is extremely dangerous, because the amount of time it takes to draw and defend and fire somebody with a knife can do catastrophic, if not deadly damage. Realize he was in the car, but the distance is very, very short.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or sincerely affirm, as the case may be, that the evidence you shall give concerning this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or upon penalty of perjury?
Yes, sir.
May you please state your first and last name for the record?
Daniel Vasquez.
May you please spell out your last name for the record?
V-A-Z-Q-U-E-Z.
May you please state your badge number and business address for the record?
V013, 1 Monroe Street, Norwalk, Connecticut, 06854.
Thank you, sir.
Can I take a seat? You may sit and pull yourself up to the mic, sir, so we can hear you.
So, Officer Vasquez, directing your attention to January 15 of 2020, by whom you were employed at that time?
Newark Police Department, sir.
Okay. And what was your rank?
Patrol officer.
All right. And were you on duty on January 15, 2020?
Yes, sir.
All right. And at around 4:30 in the afternoon, were you dispatched to a location of LA Fitness Club on Main Avenue in Norwalk?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the complaint you were responding to?
It was for an unwanted guest, and my duty at that time was to assist Officer Serrano, who was assigned to the call.
Okay. And did it indicate what it was that required or caused LA Fitness to make a complaint?
I don't recall.
Okay, but an unwanted guest, I guess, was basically it?
Yes, sir.
And did they describe the person?
Yes, sir.
What was the description you had?
They provided that it was a black male wearing red pants.
Okay. And when you were going to LA Fitness, did you receive a further dispatch?
Correct.
What was that?
That there was an armed subject in the AT&T store, which was just several feet down from LA Fitness.
Okay. So is LA Fitness on one side of Main Avenue and the AT&T store is on the opposite side?
That is correct.
But are they sort of really close to each other in terms of across the street?
Do you want me to give you an approximate?
Yeah.
I would say about a football yard.
Okay.
Approximately.
Okay. Did the complaint that you received from the AT&T store, did they describe the subject?
Correction. I meant a football field. I'm sorry.
Yeah, football field.
Okay. What was the next question? I'm sorry.
The description of the person at the AT&T store. Did you have one?
Yes. They provided that it was a black male wearing pink pants.
Okay. So similar description between the two.
Correct.
And did you go to the AT&T store?
Yes.
All right. And what happened when you got there?
I pulled up in the police cruiser. I observed that the employees were facing the street, sort of like pressed against the glass. I was unsure what was going on, so I summoned someone to come out. When they did, there was a white gentleman that gave me a description of a license plate and stated that the male got into a white vehicle and left the area going southbound on Main Avenue.
Okay. And did he show you a picture of that vehicle he had taken with his phone?
He did.
Okay. Did that have the license plate number of the vehicle?
It did.
Okay. And what did you do with that information?
I memorized it to the best of my ability, and I immediately went south on Main Avenue in my patrol car.
Okay. And did you see this car?
I did.
Where'd you see it?
I saw it stopped at the gas station, the Shell gas station, which is at the corner of Main Avenue and Gristmill.
Okay. And what'd you do next?
I ran up, I stopped my patrol car in the middle of Main Avenue. I drew my firearm and I ran towards the car.
Okay. And as you're approaching the car, what did you see?
I saw a black male in the driver's seat.
Okay. And did you see someone else near the car?
Yes, I saw a black male who had his firearm drawn towards the front of his car, yelling. I don't remember what he was yelling at the time. As soon as he saw me, instead of pointing his firearm towards me, he lowered it, and it was just pure instincts where I didn't feel that he was a threat to me because he lowered his firearm, and I didn't draw on him. I kept my firearm at a low ready the entire time. I ran towards the car. When I pulled on the door handle, it was locked.
Okay. So you ran up to this white car. Was the car moving at this time, or was it stationary?
No, it was stationary.
Okay. And you tried to open the driver's side door?
That is correct.
Okay. And it was locked?
It was locked.
All right. And so did you see, as you're approaching this car, did you see a person move from the back seat of the car to the driver's seat of the car, or you did not see that?
I can't recall.
Okay.
It was several years ago.
Right, but you recall the person being in the driver's seat of the car?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so once the car, you couldn't open the driver's side door, what happened after that?
The car peeled off. It took off at a high speed. South on Main Ave, turned right onto Gristmill. I ran towards my police cruiser, activated my license sirens, and pursued it.
Okay. And where did it go?
It went up Gristmill and turned left, which led southbound onto the Route 7 connector.
Okay. Was there any effort by Norwalk police officers to try to maybe stop the car or block the car's path at all as it moved up Gristmill and onto the Route 7 connector?
I can tell you that we followed behind the vehicle. And I say we because Officer Taborda at one point got in front of me, and I took over the responsibility to call out which direction we were heading.
Okay.
And we pursued it down the Route 7 connector until we were told to stop.
Okay. And so as the second car, your responsibility was to broadcast what sort of information?
Speed, traffic, weather,
location?
Location.
Right. Okay. And did you do that as you proceeded, I guess, southbound from this area of the intersection of Gristmill Road and Route 7 down to approaching 95?
Given the circumstances, I think I did it to the best of my ability.
Okay. And so what sort of speeds were you reaching?
I remember exceeding 90 miles an hour.
Okay. All right. Who was the officer or supervisor that decided to terminate the pursuit?
I believe it was Sergeant Basegli and possibly Lieutenant Hume.
Okay. And at what point, at what juncture in terms of the pursuit was it terminated? Where were you when you were told to stand down? Were you still on Route 7 or had you turned on to 95?
We were still on Route 7. And I believe it was right before we got onto I-95 northbound, because I don't know if you're familiar with the area, however, it splits from I-95 north, Sono, and I-95 southbound in that immediate area.
Okay, all right. In any event, you received an order to terminate the pursuit.
Yes.
It was terminated, and where'd you go after that?
We turned off our license sirens. I remember there was a state trooper in the area. I got on I-95 northbound, and I exited at exit 16 East Avenue.
Okay. And where'd you go from there?
I went back to the scene, I believe. Okay. I went back to Main Avenue, the AT&T store.
Okay. And did you at some point connect with Mr. Green, the fellow who was the driver of the white car initially?
I did.
Okay. And what was your interaction with him?
My job was to secure his firearm and take him back to the Newark Police headquarters.
Okay. And other than securing Mr. Green's firearm and taking him to headquarters for, I guess, to give a statement to a detective, was that the plan?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. And did you have any further involvement in this investigation?
No, sir.
Okay. So I'll show you the street map, and then we're going to show you over the city right here. Okay. Vasquez, this has been identified earlier as a, could you step down, please?
Yes, sir.
As a street map of this area of Norwalk. And you can just sort of familiarize yourself with Main Avenue and Bristol Road. You have those located there?
So, LA Fitness is back here.
Could you point that up to the churches?
LA Fitness is back here. AT&T is somewhere in this vicinity, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 584.
584.
And what is the service station?
Service station is here.
And so you went, just again for the jury, indicate where you, point to point to point, as just described.
Okay, so I came off the Route 7 northbound area. When I got the call, I remember I was in this area, and I remember that because there was some highway signs that I had to go around. There was significant traffic, just like it shows in the picture. So I jumped on grass, went around this traffic. At that point, is where I was dispatched about the armed subject. I come down Grist Mill, this area, and right where I got to the AT&T store is where I saw the employees pressed against the window. I then told one of the employees to come out. So I was unsure what I was going to deal with, if I was going to be attacked or whatever. A person comes out, shows me a cell phone with the license plate from the AT&T store. I then do a U-turn in the middle of Main Avenue. I left my car somewhere in the middle of the road on Main Ave, facing south now, and the car stopped at the gas station with Mr. Green saying something with his firearm out. I then run over to the gas station. This is the gas station here, this little white rectangle. I run over, I have my firearm in this hand, I grab on the door handle, the car takes off south on Main, speeds up Grist Mill, turns left onto the Route 7 connector. We're pursuing it all the way down to the Route 7 connector at very high speed.
Thank you for your service. You're welcome. And let's just play one more time. We have some video on the gas station. You can play that, please, Mr. Slater.
The court clerk goes through 3 keyboards a week with the rate she pounds on them.
This is Exhibit 6, Mr.
Exhibit
Devlin.
6, yeah, part of Exhibit 6. Thank you.
She's the reporter, actually. I think she's doing full typing. That's not a stenographer, is it? Looks like a standard keyboard.
Stop it, please. No, a little more. A little further. A little further, please. Stop it, please. Is that you, Officer Vasquez?
That is correct, sir.
And this is where you're attempting to open the door to the car?
That is correct.
Okay, please play it. And the car leaves
She
the
wants
scene
to watch
and
the
you
video,
follow.
too.
That is correct.
Thank you. No further questions.
Cross-examination, Mr. McKeon.
Please. Mayor, may I approach the clerk to retrieve defense A?
Yes.
There's Trooper North.
Good afternoon. Good
He's got a
morning.
GPS
Good morning,
watch
sir. Wishful
on.
thinking. Good morning. I'm Attorney Frank Riccio. I represent Trooper North. The video that you just saw is one of the camera angles from the Shell gas station. What I'm going to show you now and then ask you questions about is another angle of the same incident from the Shell gas station.
Sure.
It's labeled as Defense A, or is a full exhibit. going to ask you to draw your attention not only to the white Hyundai Sonata that just drove up, but to the immediate left on this video, and ask if that's your car that pulls up.
That is my vehicle, nor a police vehicle.
Now you're jumping out of the car. At this point, you already have your gun drawn? As best you can recall?
I would say yes.
Right. And as the video continues to roll, that's you, I assume, getting back into your cruiser, driving away from the left to the right on this video. Mr. Green, who's wearing a blue jacket, is now running up Main Avenue to try to see what's happening.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, when you initially came to the scene, it was on a report of an armed gentleman at the AT&T store, correct?
Yes.
All right. And clearly you never made it to the AT&T store before you ran across this incident at the Shell station.
That's incorrect, I did.
You did, pardon me. And then because it's only about 2 or 3 blocks away, fair, between the, if you know, between the AT&T store and the Shell gas station. 2 or 3 would probably be too much. I would say a block. Okay. Now, your testimony was you pull up as we just saw, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, upon leaving your vehicle, your gun was already drawn.
Yes.
I don't remember if my vehicle, I can't remember immediately if my gun was already drawn. I know that I drew my firearm at some point. It had to be when I exited the vehicle.
Okay. And your gun was drawn because of the complaint that there was an armed suspect?
The severity of the call, yes, sir.
Severity of the suspect that you were called to get to the scene for?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, as the video shows, you certainly made an attempt to try to open that door, but you were unable to, correct? The door was locked?
The door was locked.
Okay. Were you able to, and these are split-second movements, I understand it happened very quickly. Were you able to get a description or see like the suspect's demeanor? This is the gentleman in the pink pants. The gentleman's demeanor while you were briefly seeing him at the scene?
No, sir.
Okay. Nevertheless, the gentleman gets in the driver's seat and drives away, correct?
That is correct.
Now, you then followed this car onto Route 7, and then it was terminated once you got to I-95, shortly after you entered I-95, correct?
It was terminated before we entered I-95.
This is a rush hour traffic around the 4:30 p.m. time frame, correct?
That is correct.
And if you recall, it was a weekday, a Wednesday, as opposed to a weekend, correct?
Yes.
The volume on Route 7 on a Wednesday, 4:30 p.m. is moderate, a good descriptor of the amount of the volume of the public driving on Route 7 South?
At that time?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be moderate, it would be a little high.
Okay, so moderate to heavy.
Yes, sir.
Notwithstanding the moderate to heavy traffic, as you report, the suspect was driving his vehicle in excess of 90 miles an hour.
Driving the white vehicle?
Correct.
Mr. Green's vehicle, yes, sir.
Yes. And do you recall, as you were behind the vehicle following this white Sonata at speeds of 90 miles an hour, was the suspect weaving in and out of the lanes of traffic? Or on the breakdown lane, what was he doing?
When we were traveling south on the Route 7 connector, there was some weaving, but going south, the traffic was lighter than the traffic traveling north. So there was times where it was just a straight shot of the white vehicle traveling at a very high speed.
All right. Now, you received a report to terminate terminate following the white Sonata, and you did stop. You terminated that pursuit, correct?
I deactivated my lights and sirens and reduced my speed, yes.
All right. You returned to AT&T, where I think you and others, that is to say other members of Norwalk PD, met in the parking lot of the AT&T store, correct?
I would say that is correct.
And one of the people that you were talking to was Daniel Green, the owner of the Hyundai Sonata.
I would say yes.
Do you recall whether either you or some other member of Norwalk PD said during that interaction, he jacked the Uber, he jacked the Uber? Do you remember someone saying that?
I do not, sir.
Okay. The information that you were working on was what was reported, AT&T armed individual, plus what you observed happen at the Shell gas station.
Yes.
All right, I have no other questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
No questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. You are excused.
Thank you.
So Officer Vasquez is done.
Statement is called Lieutenant Stephen Sampson from the Connecticut State Police.
Yes, sir.
Bring the lieutenant. Look at all the junk they have on the TV stand. Next time it zooms out, just try to guess at what everything is. They got all sorts of crap on there.
Please come right this way, sir. Just make your way up to the stand, please.
Be prepared to be sworn in.
Please remain standing for a moment, sir.
Sir, may you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or sincerely affirm, as the case may be, that the evidence you shall give concerning this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or upon penalty of perjury?
I do.
May you please state your first and last name for the record?
First name is Stefan. Last name is Sampson.
May you please spell out your last name for the record?
S-A-M-S-O-N.
May you please state your badge number and your business address, please?
My badge number is 041. My business address is 1111 Country Club Road, Middletown, Connecticut, 06457.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, you said that's his business
Pull
address.
yourself
So
up to the microphone. Thank you.
we're letting it fly. Country Club Road.
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Could you tell us what your duty position is with the Connecticut State Police?
My duties and responsibilities for the Connecticut State Police right now, I am the commanding officer of research, development, and planning at headquarters.
And in that position, do you have any responsibility
Swanky
or
headquarters.
oversight with respect to policies and procedures for the Connecticut State Police?
I do.
And could you explain that a little bit to the jury?
Any type of new policies or procedures that come through, it's my unit's responsibility to look at it, implement any legislation or any recommendations from post-police officers, standardization training, and we would implement it. My unit would get it and we would implement it.
And how long have you been with the state police?
Over 27 years.
What are some of the other, maybe in the last 10 years or so, what are some of the other duty positions you've had?
Upon making lieutenant, I have been the commanding officer for various barracks, as well as being the commandant down at the training academy for the 132nd Training Troop, and then my current position right now, commanding officer at headquarters.
How long were you the commandant at the training academy?
Just for one cycle for the 132nd, and that was for approximately 7 months.
It's basically a commanding position overseeing the police academy, essentially?
Yes, it is, sir.
And back to your current position, are you familiar with the document called the Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection Administration and Operations Manual?
Yes, I am. That's where the policies, that's where we make the changes in, sir.
Policy manual.
41 marked as ID.
And I've previously shown defense counsel 41 for identification. Can I put some lips around it?
You may.
I'm showing you what's been marked 41 for identification. Could you take a look at that and tell me if you recognize that document?
Yes, sir.
And would you recognize that to be?
The Weapons, Firearms, and Use of Force General Policy Statement 13.04.01.
And would that policy have been in effect for state police troopers on or about January 20th of 2020?
Yes, it would be, sir.
I'd offer it, Your Honor.
No objection.
Full exhibit 41.
Stage 41 marked as full.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk.
Did he just tear it up?
And I should mention, in addition to this, the document itself is 2 pages. Is there a or a supplementary paper at the end of that document?
Yes, sir.
What's the title of that?
Use of Force, Threat Assessment, and Response Management Matrix.
So like a use of force matrix, essentially?
Yes, sir.
Could you just going back to that first page, would you mind just reading, a tab in green, a line from that document? Would you mind just reading that aloud to the jury?
Knowledge of the law shall be current. Each employee shall be knowledgeable about current state, federal laws, desk policy regarding the use of force.
In your current position now, and I guess using your experience as the private commandant at the police academy, would all new recruits and trooper trainees be trained in this policy and the other policies that you've spoken about today?
Yes, it would be, sir.
Yeah.
And Your Honor, I've just previously shown defense counsel what's now been pre-marked for ID, states 42 through 46. I don't believe there's an objection. I offer those in full.
There is no objection. May I just approach so I can know which is which?
Yeah, I'd like you to confer.
This is a speed trial. These guys are so fast. Their little breaks they take are measured in seconds.
So you've seen these, Mr. Riccio?
Yes.
And you have no objection to any of them? All right, full exhibits 42 through 46. And these are just generally what, Mr. Slid?
So 42 is the State Police Administrative and Operations Manual policy on vehicle pursuits.
Yep.
43 is conducted electrical weapons. 44, body-worn cameras. And 45 is a one-page subsection from the Administration and Operations Manual on traffic stop procedures. And 46 is a 16-page document that comprises a PowerPoint presentation that's titled Felony Traffic Stops.
Okay.
Stage 42 through 46 marked as full.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk.
Lieutenant, I didn't mention this a moment ago on the record, but these, you've previously reviewed these policies in the courthouse today, prior to today's session?
Yes, I did.
And the versions of these policies that I'm about to read, were these in effect on about January 15th of 2020?
Yes, they were.
I'm going to hand you now what states 42 in full. That's the vehicle pursuit policy. Could you just read the tab items?
Purpose. The purpose of this policy is to provide guidelines for troopers and police officers under the direction and jurisdiction of the Division of State Police for the initiation, continuation, termination, and reporting of vehicle pursuits.
Hey, could you just go to the next tab, I think, next page?
Pursuits means attempt by a police officer in an authorized emergency vehicle to apprehend any occupant of another moving motor vehicle when the driver of the fleeing motor vehicle is attempting to avoid apprehension by maintaining or increasing the speed of such vehicle or by ignoring the police officer's attempt to stop such vehicle.
And next tab, please. And this is under the heading, there's a subheading, engaging police in pursuits. Could you just read what's marked off as section, it's Delta 1 subsection A? Or actually, I'm sorry. Read 1 in 1A, please.
A trooper or police officer may only engage in a vehicle pursuit if he or she has reasonable suspicion to believe the driver or occupants of the pursued vehicle has committed, is attempting to commit, or will imminently commit a crime of violence actually or threatening, or there are any articulable exigent circumstances that warrant the need to apprehend the suspect in a timely manner because of the potential for harm to the public if apprehended does not occur. Infractions, property crimes, including stolen motor vehicles, and nonviolent misdemeanors and felonies are not cause to engage in pursuit, absent articulable exigent circumstance.
Okay, thank you. And I'm handing you states 43. This is the conducted electrical weapons policy, CEW. Is one type of electrical weapon a taser, for example?
Yes.
Okay. Could you read for me the tab sections here, which is on page 2, section F4, and then subparagraph B? I'm sorry, the title being deployment and safety considerations.
When circumstances allow for another reasonable alternative, troopers and police officers should avoid using this CEW on a subject that is in control of a moving motor vehicle, a vehicle in gear, or other type of motorized equipment, or instance where the deployment of the CEW would likely place the vehicle in uncontrolled motion.
Thank you.
So don't tase someone while they're driving a car.
I'm not going to read anything from this, but again, 44, that's the policy that was in effect on that date I mentioned regarding body-worn cameras?
Yes, it was, sir.
Okay, these last two documents are a little bit different, and they're not actually the full policies, but I'm handing you states 45. Could you just describe, I'm not going to ask you to read anything, but could you just describe what that is?
It's traffic stop procedures, high-risk traffic stops or felony stops. It's an excerpt out of our A&O manual.
Okay, and is this also something that would have been trained to trooper trainees and new troopers?
Yes, it would, sir.
What do they call the manual?
Like I mentioned, it's a 16-page document containing, I guess, 32 PowerPoint slides. The jury, what that is?
This power slide, or this what you just handed me, it's basically a copy of a PowerPoint presentation that we utilize for training at the training academy for trooper trainees, or refresher for any troopers that might need it.
Okay, there's a date on the upper right-hand corner, which is actually February 20th of this year. I think it's fair to say that's probably when this document was printed. Do you see anything on that first slide that might indicate when this particular training would have been, what class that might have been part of?
I couldn't tell you the class, but I give you the year, because it just says it's a patrol, is a 1200-20 series, so that means it's 2020.
2020?
Correct, sir.
All right, thank you. No further questions, Ron.
Mr. Yep, a moment, you're ready.
Julie says, Breezy out here running miles, and here's me just realizing I can fit a Twix finger in my mouth whole and sideways. That's awesome. Reverend, thanks for Reverend Breezy running miles for everybody. I realize you ran more miles while I've been sitting here than it would have taken for me to walk to the post office and back.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I just have a few questions, please. In fact, can I approach the clerk just to briefly retrieve what's been introduced?
You may.
42 through 46.
I like there's a big bin right in front of the clerk's desk. So if something falls off his desk, it just goes straight to the recycle bin.
So you were asking questions about these policies. Is the term policy deliberately used? And let me ask you in a different way. Are these hard and fast rules, or are they policies and guidelines that should be followed, but they're not hard and fast rules?
That's correct, sir. And I believe it's the first chapter of our A&O specifies that we just mentioned.
Okay.
He means
so
A and
guidelines are just that, guidelines. They're not hard and fast letter of the law rules, correct?
Correct.
Now, the A&O manual, the Administration and Operations Manual, that thing is like over 1,000 pages long, isn't it?
That's correct, sir.
And what we have here are sections of that manual. Now, when these sections change, you had testified or you were asked, were these in effect at a particular time? My question is this: when these policies change, is there a way, is there a requirement that troopers sign off and acknowledge that there's a change and they understand that there's a change?
Yes, there are, sir.
Okay. So, for example, in Trooper North's case, just because he's sitting here today, when these policies change, they have to be acknowledged, and that essentially his signature agrees and acknowledges, yes, I understand this change has been made.
That's correct, sir.
Okay. One of these documents, specifically felony traffic stops, states 45 and 46. You know, these traffic stops are initiated by the offender, correct?
That is correct, sir.
So these, well, and let's back up. Pursuits, the reason an officer would engage in a pursuit is because of the activity and actions of the offender, correct?
That's correct.
And the current state of the law regarding pursuits is that pursuits are not authorized, and I'm not using the letter of the law language, but correct me if I'm wrong, pursuits are not authorized if it's simply a property crime.
That's correct.
But pursuits are authorized if there's reasonable suspicion to believe that the offender, the suspect, has used, is using, or is about to use violent force, correct?
That's correct, sir.
And then and only then is a pursuit authorized.
Correct, sir.
Some of these policies are withdrawn. Some of these rules, the policies change at scattered times, right? One policy may change on this date, another policy may change on another date.
Correct.
Can I just have one last moment, Ryan?
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
These are some of the most efficient lawyers I've ever seen.
All right, thank you. Mr. Sampson, you are all set. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're excused.
Mr. Sampson's done.
Need to take a break now? No, we started talking, right?
Do you want to take a break? No.
You could just start off. Yeah. Big call Sergeant Kevin Duggan from the Connecticut State Police.
All right.
Efficient use of time. The jurors have nothing to complain about here. At least the 6 get to deliberate. The 3 alternates might have complaints. that TV. Look what it's got on it. I see a pointer stick. I think that's a box of pens. Looks like a deck of cards, but I think it's a box of pens. Scissors. Packing tape.
Accusers, your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or solemnly sincerely affirm as the case may be that the evidence you shall give concerning this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God or upon penalty of perjury?
I do.
May you please state your first and last name for the record?
Kevin Duggan.
May you please spell out your last name for the record?
G-U-G-G-A-N.
May you please state your badge number and business address for the record?
224 is my badge number, and 1111 Country Club Road, Middletown, Connecticut is my business address.
Thank you, sir.
Country Club Road.
Thank you.
And pull up to the mic, please.
That's headquarters.
Hi, Sergeant. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Fine, thanks.
Fine, thanks.
Could you tell us your duty position currently with the state police, and maybe trace briefly your history with that unit?
Currently, I'm a sergeant with the state police. I'm assigned to the Central District Major Crime Squad, specifically assigned to the crime van. At the time of this incident, I was a detective with the state police in Central District Major Crime, assigned to the crime van.
Okay, you say, how long have you been a trooper?
16 and a half years.
Sir, are you aware
a
that
detective?
your tie is also committed
About
to
7
crime
years.
right now?
And how long have you been a sergeant?
About 2 years.
Okay, so were you a sergeant when this particular incident happened?
No.
And we're talking about the incident January 15th, 2020?
Correct.
And you say assigned to the crime van. Could you tell the jury what that means, what those responsibilities entail?
So the crime van is basically a truck that is stationed in Hartford, and it travels the state, and basically it's tasked with 4 or 5 detectives, and we process major crime scenes throughout the central part of the state. Homicides, police shootings, suspicious deaths, any type of major case incident.
Okay. How many of those vans are there?
3 for the state police.
One for different types of districts?
Yep, with the state police, there's 3 districts, east, central, and west. Each district has a truck. I'm part of the central district, which is located in Hartford.
And what were your responsibilities, when you were assigned to the van on this particular day, who was the commander, who was in charge on the scene for this?
So it would have been Sergeant Ralph Soda at that time.
And is he still with the Connecticut State Police?
He's not, he has since retired.
And what responsibilities did he assign you as a detective that day?
I was the lead investigator for this case.
So you're familiar with the scene and you're familiar with some of the evidence items that were collected?
Yes, I was tasked with processing and documenting the scene. And what I mean by that is photography, video recordings, and evidence collection.
Okay, Detective, what I'd like to do today, and this will take a little while, I'm going to ask you to examine some items. Did you bring anything with you to the court today?
I did.
And what did you bring with you?
I brought evidence pertaining to this case.
And where did you bring that evidence from?
Hartford, Connecticut.
And whereabouts in Hartford?
So my office is located at Brainerd Airport in Hartford, 269 Maxim Road.
And is it fair to say the items that were seized and collected in this case have been stored generally at that location since this incident happened?
They have been.
It's a lot of evidence.
So how many boxes did you bring with you today?
3.
Oh yeah, we get some more ASMR from the evidence tape.
I have your evidence inventory form here. I don't think I'm going to need to make that an exhibit, but I'm going to do my best to go through and order what's on that list just to make it easier for you and for the clerk. So I'm going to hand you, I guess beginning with number 1, some items here. So let me take approach the defense, right?
Are these or are these not pre-marked?
These physical items, Your Honor, are not pre-marked. The state's intent is to introduce the physical items and then present photographs of those items to the witness and then have those items published to the jury, the photographs.
So but both the item and the photograph of it will come into evidence?
Correct.
So there'll be exhibit number and exhibit number A, and they all have yet to be labeled?
Correct. Yeah, yes, Your Honor. I'm going to bring those to the clerk. We didn't have an opportunity to pre-mark these because they were in custody.
They weren't here.
Right.
The judge's question reminded me of a quote from a movie, one of my favorite movies. Is you or is you not my constituency?
Is it anticipated that these are going to go back to the state police at the end of court each day, or what are you picturing?
No, Your Honor. Once they're received into evidence, they can stay with the clerk.
Okay. All right.
If I was the court reporter, I would be snacking on corn nuts. I thought you was a toad. It's a good movie. Good movie all around. Top 10. Definite top 10. Thomas, we're still on tonight, right? Or am I going solo? I hear you laughing every time, note to self. I've got mics everywhere. I hear everybody. Everything. Even that. I wonder what she's eating. I'm thinking jelly beans, but like the Jelly Belly ones that were like the Hogwarts version. The Jelly Bellies. Someone's just clicking to click for no other reason. Is it the judge? Is the judge the offending clicker? The microphone on the defense or on the witness chair looks like a Shure SM58, which has a cardioid pickup pattern for those that are interested. Great for people who don't sit directly in front of the microphone. But
would it be possible to do like a given handful of these? In other words, have them stickered, which is the time-consuming part, and then maybe begin to go through those. We are going to have a break in a few minutes, and then maybe at the break you could follow through with the marking for
Yes, the clerk's opening.
Yeah, would that work for you, Mr. Clerk?
Yes.
I think maybe we should try to do that. And, you can take however many you need and have them pre-mark, say up to the break. Yeah, something like that, maybe. Yeah.
Each item.
Right. No, for sure. Everything has to be right. I'm not trying to hurry you. I'm just thinking about how we can use our time. That's all. Okay.
Page 16 through 22A, marked for ID.
So I'm going to hand you what's been pre-marked 16A through, I think it's 22.
So are the numbers going to be the actual exhibits, or are the A's going to be the actual exhibits?
So
I mean the items.
The A's are going to be the physical exhibits.
Yes.
And the straight numbers are going to be the photos.
Okay.
Please give them some scissors too.
And these have, Sergeant, do these items, these envelopes, do they have markings on them that indicate whether they're, what they are?
They do. There's an evidence label on each individual package. The evidence label has a case number, an exhibit number, a seized date and time, a description of the item, where the item was seized, and who the item was seized by.
And these items that I handed you, can you tell the jury generally what category these fall into?
These are all expended shell casings from a firearm.
Okay. Would you open those items up? Sorry, before you do that, have these, to the best of your knowledge, have these items been sealed and unopened since they were seized on January 15, 2020?
They've been transported to the lab. That was the only time they've been reopened, as far as I'm aware.
And can you tell if they came back to the lab in sealed condition?
Yes.
I'd offer them in full, Your Honor.
No objection.
Full 16 through 22, A, all A. So I mean 16A through 22A, right?
Stephen, welcome. Welcome to the gallery. Help yourself to the emojis and take a seat by typing ! seat to use your reserved seat.
And I'm going to hand you 16A in full now. And there's some gloves there if you need to use them. I have a pair of scissors. I'm not opening that and showing that.
Please use the scissors.
The permission of the court showing that item to the jury?
Yeah. Yes. You want to pass it around the jury?
I think I'm going to, for these items, I think I'm just going to put them
And you'll
on the
use
screen.
exhibit 16 or
Correct.
the thing?
It should be 16, so if you can open up that basic detective, just confirm what that is. Before you open it, just take a look at what's in there. Confirm what it contains.
This is an expended shell casing.
Looks like a 9 or a 40. What do you think? 40?
Yeah. And I'm handing you a document that's been, I just showed defense counsel, it's been marked 16 for identification. Does that fairly inaccurately represent at least the back showing the primer of that shell casing?
It does.
That offer, Your Honor?
No objection to 16 through 22 being marked as full.
All right, 16 through 22, full exhibits.
And you can put that item back in the envelope, published 16.
You may. Mr. Slip, you have, I guess we have 16 through 20 in your hands there. 20, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Great to have you here. You can never leave now, though.
17A, which is that full exhibit, if you can open up that.
For how fast they process witnesses with testimony, they sure are going slowly on the evidence side of things.
And what does that contain?
It's an expended shell casing.
And can you state 17 in full? Is that fairly accurately represented the back of that shell casing?
It does.
Can that be published?
Yep.
Okay, that is 2 out of 7. I am going to fast forward, which we're going to turn off the screen for. Let's see. We're gonna skip just a little bit ahead. Boom, 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 boom. He still handed him envelopes. Still handed him envelopes. Let's see where we are right here.
Well, do you want to have, maybe we'll have a little bit longer recess so you guys can, you have a lot of those to go through, I imagine?
Yes.
Like 20 minutes?
Sure.
20 minutes. 20-minute recess, Marshall.
20-minute recess. Now we get a break. Yay. Okay, so 20 minutes later, we're going to skip that break because we spent 20 minutes watching him open one manila envelope with a shell in it. Casing, sorry. Spent casing. Boom, boom, boom. Fast forward, fast forward. This is the longest 20-minute recess of my life. Oh, now we're back. Okay. There we go. All right. We're coming back here in just a second. Quick update. What do you think about cops who are state witnesses think about testifying about against another cop? I think they try to hold the line. I think you're going to see that thin blue line show up where they back each other up. That's what I've seen in other trials. We'll see if these ones either throw him under the bus or have his back. Yay for skipping recess. Yeah, who wants the exercise, right? We are trying to catch up. This is still a current trial. So you playing Nerf without, don't shoot at me. We'll show you what the thumbnail looks like so far.
And we are on the record, right?
We're on the record, John.
Okay. I have a little business to take care of right now, and I need for that purpose to have yeah.
It's okay. Just put the guy in the straight box. Actually, Detective Doug, you want to step down for a second? Okay. You can have a seat over here if you wish, please.
I'm curious what the business is. He's going to be back up on the stand, so we'll leave the pinned message up for now.
Hi, you can come over here, sir. I'm just gonna, no, actually, maybe it's better if you come back over there. I'm so sorry, just go over. So I'm gonna call you by your initials and your number for the reasons that we talked about previously in the court.
Juror.
So, juror number 2, NP, it seems, I've observed that you've had some difficulty a little bit this morning and yesterday morning, actually, keeping track of the process intermittently. And so I'm going to excuse you, and you have the thanks of the state of Connecticut and the parties in this case and the court, most of all, really, for having appeared for it. You've done your jury service. Your service is complete.
You fall asleep. Fell asleep. He's getting kicked off.
That's it.
That's it. Go home, get some rest. Oh my goodness. Now we won't be disrupted by the snoring. Let this be a lesson and a warning to the rest of y'all. Pay attention. Pay attention.
So now we need this one.
Good thing the judge couldn't see me. I was getting a little sleepy too. Jurors entering.
Right over here, sir, please.
So you are alternate number 2, and your initials are MD.
Correct.
Okay. You, sir, are going to take a place on the jury.
You just got promoted.
And for that purpose, I'm going to have the clerk administer the juror's oath to you now.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or solemnly sincerely affirm, as the case may be, that you would decide the case between the state and the defendant based on the evidence given in court and on the laws of the state as explained by the judge, that you would not talk to each other about this case until instructed to do so, that you would listen to and consider what the other jurors have to say in deliberations about this case, that you would not speak to anyone else or allow anyone else to speak to you about this case, and that when you reach a decision, you would not disclose the decision until it is announced in court. So help you God or upon penalty of perjury. If so, please say I do.
I do.
6 jurors, 2 alternates.
I'm going to just administer a brief instruction now that you've become a juror in the case. So now that you've been selected to serve in this criminal trial as a juror, you'll be obligated by your oath to follow the rules of juror conduct until you're discharged by the court. It is your sworn duty to decide the factual issues based only on the evidence presented in court. You must not perform any investigation or research on any issue of fact, law, or legal procedure. Additionally, you must avoid all publicity about the case and all communications to or from anyone about the case or any issues arising in it. If you're exposed to any such publicity or communications, despite your best efforts to follow this instruction to avoid it, you must immediately inform this court about the exposure in writing without advising any other jurors about the fact or the nature of the exposure, so that the court can follow up as necessary with you and or other jurors to protect the parties' rights to a fair trial. Do you understand?
I do.
All right. Then you may take, do you have stuff outside in the, is your notebook in here or is it?
It's right.
Oh, okay. Well, then you may take your seat and we'll have the other jurors join us.
That's how you get a promotion, you guys. You slip a little sleepy powder. No. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
All right, could you step up for just one moment, please, Your Honor?
Yes, yes.
Thank you, sir. I just wanted the record to reflect that pursuant to the court's direction, the clerk did follow the statutory procedure in selecting the alternate. We put the names of the 3 alternates, and by lot, our clerk has selected this gentleman to replace the excused juror. Thank you.
It's weird that they don't all have that same admonition, an oath at the beginning.
Well, they can all come in, yeah. And you guys are all set with the markings for a little bit?
Yes. Yeah, you want that.
That was a good show. Jury duty was pretty good. No-dos. I'm awake, I tell you.
Can we stipulate that everyone's here? 6 jurors and 2 alternates?
State will stipulate, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Stipulate. Hey, Detective Duggan, resume the stand.
You may, yes. And you may inquire.
Thank you, Your Honor. I've just shown defense counsel what's been pre-marked states 23A through 26.
Let me take a look at that.
For identification.
Thumbnail really quick.
I believe there's no objection to those being coming in as full exhibits.
No objection.
Sleeping jurors running away.
23A through 26A, full exhibits.
Sarah, thank you. 1 month of support. Love that blue courthouse.
Stage 23A through 26A, marked as full.
We're going to skip ahead. I'm sorry, they take so long to admit evidence.
Detective, I'm going to hand you now, start with 23A. And could you just tell the jury, if you can tell from that description that's on that envelope, what item might be in that envelope?
It's a bullet projectile.
And can you tell on there if there's a description of a location where it would have been seized from?
Yes, this was seized from the sidewalk of Campbell Ave in West Haven.
And Detective, I didn't do this earlier this morning, but could you just maybe give the jury an overview of the, we'll show you some photos later, but maybe just an overview of what that scene looked like when you arrived, how things were in general.
All right, so when we arrived on scene, it was in the evening hours. It was dark out, and basically there were 3 cruisers parked facing west on Campbell Ave. And those cruisers were surrounding a Hyundai Sonata and another vehicle, I believe it was a Chevy Trailblazer. And all the cruisers had their lights activated, and there had clearly been a motor vehicle accident at the scene.
Okay, if you could use the, if you was there, if you need to use them, it's scissors, if you could open up that envelope. And while he's doing that, Your Honor, just to note for the record, I spoke to defense counsel during the break, and just to kind of protect the sergeant's reputation and the way that evidence is treated. I don't believe there's going to be an issue with respect to the factual circumstances with respect to these items. And I mention that because it would be a little more time consuming for the detective to change gloves with each and every item. And I think by agreement, we're not going to do that today with these particular items. He's just going to not change gloves each time.
He's not going to re-glove for each shell casing.
Mr. Riccio?
That is accurate. The detective doesn't have to change gloves with every exhibit.
I think his training would require him to do that, and if one of his supervisors were to see this, they might question us. I just wanted to put that out there. So
It's like, of course my supervisor's going to see this.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Could you tell us what that item is, Detective?
This is a bullet projectile.
Okay, and where, maybe I asked you this before, but where was that seized again? Can you tell on there?
It was on the sidewalk of Campbell Ave in West Haven at the scene of the incident.
And with permission of the court, Your Honor, just to move things along, and I spoke to Attorney Riccio about this, if it's okay with the court, could we just publish these items sort of as they come in? Making that request each time?
Yeah, how many will be in this?
Well, in this series, Your Honor, it's four items.
Four,
So
okay.
that's again up to 26.
Okay, we're going to miss this part.
So that could be
Sorry,
published.
guys, if you
It may.
if you thought this was going to be like really super exciting, but we're going to skip. He's still standing up next to him. Still standing next to him. Let's see, are we still there? Still holding, giving him envelopes, and let's go back here. Okay.
8 and 9 as full exhibits. They're just packaged together.
But each disc is going to have an individual number, those
Yes.
being 8 and 9?
Yes, your number one disc, it doesn't matter which one. One would be the body-worn camera, Trooper North, and one would be the original motor vehicle
So he's talking about the videos
recording.
being admitted from the different body cams and dash
Not
cams.
intending to offer these as full exhibits, just for identification.
These are identification. All right, for identification. And Mr. Riccio has those? We've seen them?
Yes, sure. Yes. Number 8 is the body-worn camera. Number 9, the motor vehicle recording. We have been previously provided those.
Blazy, what's that a picture of?
Okay.
Can't see.
So Detective, or Sergeant, if you could just open this up and then have a quick mark of those.
Casey? They've got the DVDs in the evidence envelope.
And are they labeled in any way, those two discs?
They are.
How are they labeled?
Trooper North, it says BWC, which is body worn camera, and Trooper North on another CD, which is mobile video recording. That would be from the cruiser.
And can you tell the court or the jury in general how these recordings will be obtained and then recorded, preserved on a disc?
All right, so the cruiser is equipped with a mobile video recording device that records video of our incidents. And basically when the lights and siren are activated, the camera is activated, it goes back 30 seconds approximately and starts recording. The same thing with the body camera. The body camera is normally worn on the trooper's exterior, outer portion of the trooper's uniform, and same thing, it's synced to the car, and the minute the lights and siren are activated, it goes back 30 seconds and starts recording. The only other way the body camera can be activated is if the trooper manually turns the body camera on himself.
So have you seen these items before or seen the contents of them?
I have.
And approximately how long do they run?
Quite a while.
Okay, thank you. And
thanks for that approximation.
The court's information, the state intends to later in the trial offer excerpts from these two videos. But we're only offering these for identification, so
who is Wildcat on Canva?
And similarly, Detective, if you could open up the next envelope, I'm going to hand you, actually, I'm going to show the house first. This is your evidence number 35. If you could just open that, or can you tell from the description what that contains?
Yes, there's 2 CDs in this package. These are from Trooper Dowling. These are his body-worn camera and mobile video recording device from the cruiser of the incident that day.
Okay, could you open those, confirm that that's what's in there? Are there labels on those?
There are. One CD says Trooper Dowling, BWC, which is body-worn camera. The other CD says Trooper Dowling, MVR, which is mobile video recording from the cruiser.
So if these could be marked 12 and 13 for
which is which?
The body-worn camera will be 12, Your Honor, and MVR 13.
Okay, and those are for identification only at this point?
Yes, Your Honor.
They are, or will be marked.
Take back all the good things I said about this court moving quickly.
I'm going to hand you what's been marked 14 for identification. That contains a single DVD. It's not in an envelope. Is that, are you familiar with what that purports to be?
I am.
And how did you become familiar with that item?
I read the report that was associated with this CD.
Did that come into evidence the same way that the other items, the body-worn cameras that you saw today?
This was seized after the incident.
And this was seized by whom?
The inspectors at the Chief State's Attorney's Office.
Okay. And you read that report today that authenticated or that gave you that information?
I have.
So we'd submit this, Your Honor, as states 14, just for identification. And I should ask, what does that? What is this video?
It's a one CD containing Trooper Richter's body-worn camera and mobile video recordings of the incident.
All on one disc?
All on one disc.
So 14 just for identification, Your Honor.
14 for identification.
Sergeant, I'm handing you what's now been marked states 30A for identification. You have a marking on it as well, which actually happens to be the same number, 30. Is that item labeled?
This is.
And can you tell what that is?
It's one Monadnock collapsible baton, and this item was seized from Trooper Jackson at the scene of the incident in West Haven.
They took his baton?
I'd offer, Your Honor.
No objection.
The baton he broke the window with?
Yes.
Became evidence?
Full exhibit, no objection being interposed.
Okay, so this is a little monotonous, but there is a chain of custody issue here that is important for trials. And evidence has to be authenticated, which is what the officer did first. He said, this is what it is. I know what it is because it's got my signature on it. Now it has to be taken over to the court clerk and then brought back over after it's labeled. Then the witness can open it. It's a weird process in this court, but... Deploy the baton.
Next that as well.
I can only trust people to use Canva that won't just add stuff that they want on there. Easy. It has to be trial related. This trial related.
Could you tell us what was in the envelope?
Sure, this is an expandable baton.
Could you show that to the jury?
Can you expand
so this is the expandable baton. This is how it's carried on the belt. When it's extended, this is what the baton looks like.
It's an ouch stick.
Thank you, Detective. Just look at that.
I'm sorry, whose was that?
Now I'm handing you what's been marked 32 for identification. Recognize that item?
I do.
Do you recognize it to be?
This is a taser wire from Trooper Jackson's taser.
And I'd offer, Your Honor.
What in the world?
Well,
I've never seen them
you could open that up too.
collect the taser wire as evidence.
Do it easily.
There's the taser wire. It looks like a bundle of fishing string with a couple little pokey things, prongs.
When you're kind of holding it, different parts in each hand. What is it that you're holding in your right hand?
So on my right hand is the taser wire, and on my left hand is the taser probe.
Okay, and I'm going to ask you a little bit more about tasers. But just briefly, can you tell us what the function of the probe is?
All right, so the wire and the probe are attached to a cartridge. The cartridge is inserted in the taser. When the taser is fired, the probe goes first, and and sticks into the subject that you're intending to tase.
It's barbed.
The wire is attached to the cartridge and the taser. An electrical current runs through the wire through the probe.
Okay, thanks, Sergeant. You can put that in the package.
It's like a pointy little fish hook that jabs you and then shocks you. They tasered him almost simultaneously with shooting him.
John, the next item I intend to show the witness is 31. It's been marked 31A for identification. I don't believe there's an objection. It's the actual taser, so I offer that full.
There are no objection to 31A, the taser, and 31, the corresponding photograph.
Couldn't they just stipulate to all these things?
Exhibits.
I'm sorry, we're going to miss some items of evidence, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Let's go right
That's an item that should be held care.
There's the taser.
Yes, okay, thank you. Can you tell us, you can have a seat, Detective. Can you just tell us generally how a taser works when it's fired, what makes it, if you have this information as a state trooper, what...
Once the taser is fired, there's two prongs, similar to the exhibit that I just showed, and basically two probes have to make contact on the intended target. And there's a current that runs from the taser to the probes, and in between that, the two probes, there's a current that incapacitates the subject. If both probes or one probe, if both probes have to make contact for the taser to work. If one probe makes contact and the other probe misses, the taser is ineffective. It will not work.
There's no connection.
Is there a relationship between the distance that somebody would fire a taser from and the target that would make it a relationship between the distance and the effectiveness of the taser?
Yes, the closer the distance, the less effect the taser is going to have, because there's going to be less probe spread, as you will. So the further away you are, the further the probes are able to spread out, which creates a bigger area for the probes to have the current run in between.
Okay, thank you, Detective. You can put that back in the envelope.
Two different officers, one with the taser, one with the firearm. We're gonna skip to something more interesting. Let's see what it is. He's opening this right here.
And what I had done was I assumed inappropriately that 31 would be the corresponding photograph number. In this particular matter, for this particular exhibit, it will be 121, 122, 131.
Oh, I think
actually
31.
31.
So 31 does exist, and then 121 and 122 also.
Gotcha.
I guess.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. So we can just, so these, they're not marked yet, but just for the record, in full, Your Honor?
These will be full. 121,
No
122.
objection.
So we can just publish to the jury, we'll start with 30.
They didn't.
31 or 30.
31, yes.
They didn't
Okay. And then you can get those other two
mark
marks.
exhibits because they've been in the custody of the police.
And
So for chain of custody reasons, they weren't able to pre-mark
that's
them.
just the taser on a flat surface facing to the right.
Yes.
Okay, if we could go to 122, or let's start 121. And could you just describe that?
It's just a different view of the taser with Trooper Jackson's name and badge number above it, just showing that that taser is assigned to Trooper Jackson.
Okay, 132? 22, sorry.
That's a photograph of just a different view of the taser with Trooper Jackson's name and badge number above it.
Why would you photograph the taser from like 6 different angles?
I'm now handing you states 33 for 33A for identification.
So first he has to show the opposing counsel. Then he has to have it identified. Then he has to have it marked. Then he has to have it opened. Then he has to have it
And do you
displayed.
recognize that item?
I do.
What is that?
This is a Smith & Wesson firearm that's state police issued to Trooper North. This was seized at Yale New Haven Hospital the night of the incident.
Okay, do you have any information as to why it would have been seized at Yale New Haven Hospital?
It was used in the incident, and it was subsequently seized as evidence.
Okay. Do you have any information as to whether or not Trooper North was at Yale New Haven Hospital?
He was.
Okay. I'd offer it, Your Honor.
No objection.
Full exhibit.
Stage 33A marked as full.
Thank you.
And if you open up that item.
We'll see if they're going to pass this around the jury box. This is what I'm waiting for right here. They did that previously with the knife. Now, as soon as you're done opening it, look up expectantly. I want to see the firearm, and then we'll see if we can skip most of this testimony.
And you've opened it up now, I see, Sergeant. Does that contain the item that you thought it did?
It does.
Could you maybe step down and just show it to the jury? Sure.
Come on, pass it around. You gave them a knife. You broke the box now. Great. Oh man, he's got all the accessories. He's got the Surefire light on the bottom.
There's some items that are attached to that firearm and that are with that pack. Just describe jury what those items are.
Do you mind if I show them?
Yes, please go ahead.
All right. So this is the magazine that's associated with the firearm, and these were the bullets that were found in the magazine at the time of the incident. So you load the bullets into the magazine, you insert the magazine into the bottom of the pistol here, pull back this slide and release it, and that arms collapse.
And is there a device that's attached to that weapon?
This right here is a flashlight.
Okay.
And yes, the trooper did use that firearm as a club to break out a window. Not smart.
Okay, can I just see that for a second? I just want to see that they, yeah, and so then the other things are to help make it safe, maybe. So, okay, all right. So I'm advised that this is a good time to break this part of the presentation up, so we're going to take an hour for your lunch and recess now. Members of the jury,
we're skipping ahead.
While you're on recess, don't make up your mind or form any opinions about the evidence you've heard. You've heard more, but you haven't heard all. You're not to discuss with anyone, including your fellow jurors, anything about the case. You're not to seek out any information or do any investigation. Don't look any of this stuff up on your laptops or cell phones if you have any. Do not answer any questions from people you believe to be from the media about this case.
Or anyone.
And do not watch any coverage of this case. If you are exposed to any, avoid watching it, okay? Thank you, and have a pleasant lunch. And recess till 2.
All right.
The trooper did, after firing 7 rounds through the window, the trooper used his firearm to break out the remaining glass in the window. Just skipping ahead through an hour of lunch. We're going to try to get all this in today, see if we can. What time is it? It's 3? Oh, it's going to be close. As long as we skip all the breaks, we should be good. Okay. It's still evidence. Oh my goodness, it's evidence, evidence, evidence. It took another break. Okay, they've got the trooper's uniform, his everything he was wearing. They're holding up his tidy whities now, showing he was a Fruit of the Loom fan. Let's see what else. I think that's it. We'll skip that part and cut to the here.
Which ones? Let's see. Like the first 10.
Those were not shots. Those were that baton being used on the passenger side window.
Your Honor, I just showed the defense counsel what's been marked as 60. Going to go 10 at a time, make it a little easier. 30, 32.
Guess what we're going to skip? Yes,
34.
Police activity had a good link.
39,
if you search
40,
police activity,
64,
Bryan North police
65,
body cam
66,
footage.
67 for ID.
All of them are for ID.
He was given his homework
they're
during
marked
lunch.
that way now, Your Honor, yes. I intend to offer them through the witness. Any objection to them being full?
No objection to any of these being admitted.
Then just admit them. Okay, we're going to skip ahead. He's still presenting evidence. More ASMR.
So this is State Police Exhibit number 9, which is a bullet projectile on the sidewalk of Campbell Ave.
More bullet projectiles, more information. Okay, hang on. He's giving him more envelopes. They just took another break. We're just gonna skip the day, the whole day. This is crazy. We're gonna be caught up before a verdict comes in. Afternoon break. All right. I think we're about done with our break. We are finishing day 2 right now, very rapidly. Thumbnail's looking great. Vicki, I think we're gonna hear from other officers who were there, but we have not heard yet. Okay, apparently I didn't skip far enough. And here we go.
Do we agree that the jury and the alternates are present?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Mr. Slick.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sergeant, I have just a couple more questions for you, a couple more exhibits to go. I know it's been a long afternoon. I'm going to show you what's been marked as, I know the defense has seen this exhibit, which is now marked as 135 for ID. Can you take a look at that?
It's the white car.
Yes.
And what does that represent?
It's an overall view of the passenger side of the Hyundai.
That was the lift vehicle.
And there's some evidence markers there too?
Yes, 12, 13, 14, and number 7 are identified in that picture.
I'd offer it, Your Honor.
No objection.
Full exhibit. 135.
Yes, sir. May it be published, Your Honor?
I see.
No, it's just.
Yeah.
May it be published?
Yes.
Yes. Yes is the right answer, Your Honor. Yes. Yes, it may be published.
So, Sergeant, again, if you could just tell the jury what we see here. Maybe first, if my assistant could just zoom in on the door area where there are maybe the wires hanging out. So,
So he was tased through the passenger side window.
We saw earlier another photo of the taser wires hanging out in front passenger side door of the Hyundai.
Yes.
And you can see that in this photo too.
You can.
Okay, you can go back out. Glass behind the car.
Yes, so the front passenger side door window is broken, and that's what the glass is on the ground. Hanging in that window doorway area is a taser wire. That's exhibit number 14.
So when you arrived on the scene, is it fair to say that major crime doesn't get to the scene immediately, necessarily, if they're called to investigate a major incident?
Correct. We arrived a few hours after the incident.
And when you arrived on the scene, is this how the scene looked with respect to these vehicles?
Yes.
So I want to draw your attention to the location of the glass, which is sort of behind the right rear quarter panel of the car, and the door, or the window, which you just said was shattered. Do you have an explanation for why that, based on your knowledge of this investigation, do you have an explanation for as to why that glass is to the rear of where that door would have been shattered?
Yes, so the Hyundai was approximately 10 feet further back. It was not up against the Chevy Trailblazer. After we reviewed body camera footage from the troopers at the scene, we observed once they were removing Mr. Soulemane from the vehicle went forward and crashed into the Chevy Trailblazer.
So did your investigation establish then that when the right after Mr. Soulemane was shot, but before he was removed, the vehicle was several feet back from where it was now?
It was. After the vehicles exited the highway onto Campbell Ave, it struck the Trailblazer once, and then it came to a stop. And then once they were removing Mr. Soulemane from the vehicle went forward and crashed into the back of the Chevy Trailblazer.
Do you know how that happened, or do you have any?
I can't explain it.
Okay, but it happened while you were pulling him out of the car?
While they were removing him from the vehicle.
Okay, and so there's some damage to that right front of the Hyundai. We've seen closer up pictures of that in some of the other exhibits. But most of that, is it fair to say that most of that damage probably occurred when the original impact between those two vehicles happened?
Yes, the second impact was a very low speed impact.
47. It's got all the short clips. Okay. It's initial
And I'm going to hand the witness what's been marked by the clerk as states 47 for identification, which is a red thumb drive with some writing on it. Do you recognize that?
I do.
What do you recognize it to be?
It's a thumb drive with video clips of the incident on it. I initialed the thumb drive saying I viewed it.
Okay. You watched the video clips that are on this thumb drive?
Yes, they're basically shortened video clips. After incidents, the cameras in the cruiser and the body cameras are running for an extended period of time. The video clips on this thumb drive are just shortened versions.
And those the segments that are on there are the full video clips. They fairly and accurately represent those sections of the fuller videos?
They do.
I'd offer it, Your Honor.
No objection.
Full exhibit.
Thank you, Sergeant. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Someone's placed an empty water bottle on the trash cart.
Afternoon, sir.
Thank you. So starting from the last exhibit, and then I'm going to sort of work in reverse order since we just talked about the damage to that white Hyundai. Actually, could you bring up 101, please?
I've tried to sort of tune out the banging sound of the keyboard. You still hear some clicking, but I've dialed back the banging frequencies.
Actually,
it's so loud.
102. Okay. So, sir, we just saw was it 135, which is the right passenger side of the vehicle of the Hyundai as well, with damage having been sustained to it. Do you recall just seeing that exhibit?
Yes.
Okay. This is states 102. Is this an accurate depiction of how you found the Hyundai up against the Trailblazer?
It is.
Now, there was just testimony that in this state, this was a low-impact situation that led to these two cars finding themselves at this resting place, correct?
Correct.
But did your investigation also indicate that the white Hyundai had struck that black Trailblazer at a high rate of speed earlier in that afternoon?
Yes.
In fact, that white Hyundai sustained heavy front-end damage hitting that black Trailblazer just after coming off of the Campbell Avenue exit, correct?
Correct.
So we've seen a series of exhibits. Certainly not going to go through them all with you. You brought us through them. But just a few questions about some of the things that we saw. For example, we saw evidence and photographs of a taser that was used, the taser wires, and
all this is depicted on the thumbnail.
All photographic evidence regarding a taser. So let me ask you a few questions regarding a taser.
Sure.
In order for it to be effective, your testimony was that both probes have to make contact with the subject, correct?
Correct.
And that's because in order for it to work, and I think that the formal term is neuromuscular incapacitation if both prongs or both probes hit the subject, correct?
Correct.
And if both of those probes don't hit the subject, it would not have the same effect.
Correct.
Let me ask you this. If one probe of two struck a subject, would it have any effect?
It would have no effect.
Now, in this particular matter, one of the pieces of evidence that you just described showed one of the probes actually sticking in a seat, correct?
Correct.
Which sort of begs the question, was it effective? Because if there's evidence that only one charge was utilized and one of the probes is in a seat, is it fair to assume that that taser had no effect?
Correct. It had no effect.
Additionally, another piece of evidence that you presented was the jacket that the suspect, Mr. Soulemane, was wearing at the time of this incident. Generally speaking, is the fact that someone may be wearing a very heavy, puffy coat, would that cause the probe to have difficulty to make contact with the suspect?
Yes.
From your investigation, did that single probe that we saw have made contact with that jacket, did it make contact with Mr. Soulemane?
It did not.
So the use of that taser, correct, withdrawn. So when that charge was fired, neither probe made contact with Mr. Soulemane.
Correct.
Having therefore no effect whatsoever.
It was completely ineffective.
Is it also fair to say that when a taser is used, and in fact you mentioned this, that distance has a relevant consideration, correct?
It does.
And to simplify it, the closer you are, the less of an effect it may have on the suspect, correct?
Correct.
Is there a general policy as to what the ideal distance should be for a taser to have maximum effect?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. Now, in this particular case, through your investigation, did it show that the taser, when fired, was from a very short distance between the taser itself and the subject to whom it was fired at?
It was.
And as you've testified, nevertheless, that taser would have had no effect because one probe was in a seat, the other probe did not pierce completely the jacket that he wore.
Correct.
Is there also a relevant consideration regarding tasers that this distance is relevant to what they call the spread? Can you explain what the spread means when we're talking about a taser?
Yes. So when the taser is fired, the two prongs are fired from the end of the taser, of the cartridge. The spread is the distance between the two probes. The greater the spread, if they make successful contact, the greater the incapacitation rate. The shorter the spread of the taser, the less effect it's going to have if it makes contact.
Okay. Now, in this particular matter, again, we know that it was not effective as the probes did not make contact with the subject. Knowing the way tasers were, given the relative closeness between the taser and the probes, would it have had any effect had it made contact with the subject?
I don't believe it would have penetrated his jacket, based on my training and experience.
The last photograph that the state introduced was a passenger side view. Matter of fact, may I ask, please, 135. And if I could also ask you to blow up the right-hand side of the picture, focusing in on the open door. Thank you very much. Now, in this particular photo, states 135, did your investigation, did you learn through your investigation that that right passenger window was broken using the baton that was also admitted as evidence in this case?
Yes.
And in fact, if we look on the left-hand side of this same exhibit, you had testified that that glass is likely from the glass that shattered on the ground is likely from the shattered window on the right-hand side of this vehicle, front passenger door.
It is.
And that door is the door through which, thank you, the taser was fired.
Correct.
Do you know, did your investigation present to you how specifically, or who rather specifically, broke that window?
Yes, a West Haven police officer.
Okay. Utilizing the baton that was admitted as evidence today?
Yes, Trooper Jackson's baton.
All right. Now, okay, thank you. We saw photographs, sir, of Trooper North's weapon. And when a Connecticut State Trooper is a Connecticut State Trooper, the weapons that they are issued are department-issued weapons, correct?
Correct.
And to say it in a different way, it's not as though a Connecticut State Trooper could obtain his or her own weapon and bring it to work, correct?
Not in a patrol capacity.
Okay. Now, so generally speaking, these are, again, department-issued weapons that the department is aware of.
Correct.
Because they scouted, for lack of a better term, what would be probably the best weapon to use for the work that they were doing.
Correct.
And also when it relates to the body-worn cameras and the MVRs, which I've called the motor vehicle recordings, but these are the mobile vehicle recordings. Is that the correct terminology?
I just call it mobile video recording. Okay. That's a term used back in the day.
The body-worn cameras, as you testified, only operate, correction. Tell us again how it is that the body-worn cameras turn on and turn off.
The body-worn cameras synced to the trooper's assigned patrol vehicle. So when he activates the lights and the siren, the body-worn camera is activated, or he can manually, or she, activate the body camera by turning it on and off with the switch on the body camera.
All right. Now, policy states that body-worn cameras must be on when troopers are interacting with the public, correct?
Correct.
Which is not other officers, correct?
Correct.
So body-worn cameras have to be on when interacting with members of the public.
Correct.
Now, you've indicated some sort of a feature where an officer can turn the camera off, but policy states that that shouldn't happen, right? That it shouldn't manually be turned off so long as you're interacting with the public.
Correct.
And you also said that these same body-worn cameras automatically turn on when the siren is turned on and the lights are turned on in the vehicle?
Correct.
Now, the technology of body-worn cameras obviously was in existence at the time of this event. When, if you know, when was it that body-worn cameras became a staple at the Connecticut State Police?
It was within a year, give or take, of the incident. It was very new at the time.
Okay. And you did indicate that we saw image of the body-worn camera as it existed January 2020. Has the technology changed?
It has.
Gone on? Is it smaller or?
It's smaller.
Okay. In looking at Trooper North's weapon, one of the photographs, multiple photographs, showed the magazines that were also in his belt and in his gun, correct?
Correct.
And two of those magazines were, if you don't recall, I will show you, two of those magazines were completely full.
Correct.
How many bullets are in a magazine?
It depends. Each magazine is different.
Okay. Now, but we can agree that two of those magazines were full, correct?
Correct.
Matter of fact, if I could just take a minute. Pardon me, Your Honor, I'm just trying to locate an exhibit. Here it is. Which one is it? 127. Sir, you're being shown what is states 127. And the two magazines, one to the severe right of this picture and one in the center, both of those are full, correct?
They are.
Now, can you count how many bullets are in each of those magazines? And maybe could I ask that one of those full magazines be standard? Thank you.
I'm counting 17 bullets.
All right.
It's got to be a 9mm.
Now, can we also agree, and that's in the highlighted magazine is the center magazine. If we can return to the original picture, can we agree that there's also 17 in the magazine all the way to the right?
$17.
Okay. And then finally, if you could focus your attention on the third magazine, that being the farthest to the left, how many are in the magazine?
I'm counting 10.
And then if you count the round that's above it but not next to it, would that be 11?
Correct.
During points in your testimony, and it may have been just standard operating procedure, you were referring to the gentleman who was the occupant of the white Hyundai Sonata as a victim. Now, we can agree that that's typically language that sort of naturally is used in your line of work, correct?
Correct.
Your investigation, however, did also indicate that this same individual, the lone occupant of the white Hyundai Sonata, had committed a series of criminal offenses prior to finding his way onto Campbell Avenue, correct?
Yes.
He pulled a knife on somebody at an AT&T store on Main Avenue in Norwalk. Did your investigation produce that?
It did.
Did your investigation produce that this same occupant of the white Hyundai Sonata had, depending on what language you use, carjacked or otherwise stole a Lyft driver's vehicle on Main Avenue in Norwalk?
It did.
Did your investigation also indicate that the lone occupant of this white Hyundai Sonata drove from Norwalk to West Haven at times in speeds of excess of 100 miles an hour?
It did.
Did your investigation also indicate that in driving from Route 7 onto I-95 at over 100 miles an hour, he was putting hundreds of motor vehicle drivers at risk by those high reckless speeds?
It did.
And though I'm sure the members of the jury are aware, let's just take a minute and talk about all the towns that this 100 mile an hour or thereabouts speed hit. This started in Norwalk, correct?
Correct.
If you could please tell us the towns, once on I-95, tell us the towns that I-95 goes through between Norwalk and West Haven.
All right, so it started in Norwalk, Westport, Fairfield, Bridgeport, Stratford, Milford, West Haven.
And through each and every one of those towns, the lone occupant of this white Hyundai Sonata was driving recklessly in excessive speed, weaving in and out of traffic, correct?
And rammed cruisers.
To that end, there were multiple photographs that were shown identifying damage that had existed to both Trooper North's car and Trooper Jackson's car, correct?
Correct.
In fact, if I could just find it. 116, please. So you're being shown what states 116. States 116 is Trooper North's cruiser left rear quarter panel. I believe your testimony was earlier in the afternoon that this was fresh damage. Is that the language you used?
Correct.
And did your investigation show that this damage to the left rear quarter panel was done by the white Hyundai Sonata driven by Mr. Soulemane as police tried to box him in on the highway?
It did.
Back 115, please. This is a farther away view of the same vehicle, Trooper North's vehicle. Can we agree that there's damage on the right-hand side of this photograph? There's damage to the rear quarter panel?
There is.
I believe your testimony was that this was also fresh damage?
It was.
And did your investigation show that this damage was caused by Mr. Soulemane on I-95 while Trooper North and Trooper Jackson were trying to box him in to try to stop the pursuit?
It did.
97, please. States 97 is the front quarter panel, passenger side Trooper Jackson's car. Testimony was that this was fresh damage, correct?
Correct.
And did your investigation show that this damage was caused by Mr. Soulemane driving that white Hyundai Sonata while Trooper Jackson and Trooper North were trying to box him in?
It did.
And then finally, 99, please. This is another closer view of Trooper Jackson's vehicle, front quarter panel, passenger side. Can we agree that this was identified during direct as fresh damage?
It was.
And this is damage caused by Mr. Soulemane driving that white Hyundai Sonata on I-95, and that damage was caused when Trooper Jackson and Trooper North tried to box Mr. Soulemane in.
It was.
And did your investigation indicate whether or not Trooper Jackson and Trooper North were successful in slowing his vehicle on I-95?
I did. Our investigation showed they were unsuccessful.
And through all of the towns that you testified this pursuit went through, Mr. Soulemane continued to drive recklessly through each and every one of those towns, correct?
He did.
This pursuit occurred on
There's a large kitchen carving knife.
Wednesday afternoon. Were you aware of that?
I was.
And this pursuit also took place at rush hour between 4:30 and 5 p.m. in the afternoon. Were you aware of that?
I was.
Can we agree that I-95 on a Wednesday afternoon going north between Norwalk and West Haven is a heavily traveled road, correct?
It is.
With a lot of traffic.
Correct.
Moderate to heavy traffic, is that a fair assessment?
Very fair.
And notwithstanding heavy traffic during rush hour on a weekday afternoon, Mr. Soulemane drove his car in a reckless fashion on a state roadway, I-95.
Correct.
Thank you. I just have a moment, Your Honor. Thank you.
Everyone counts to 5. That's how long the moment is.
Just a couple more questions, sir. Thank you. Now, sorry. You were the main investigator in this case?
I was.
And you were the main investigator for obviously an officer-involved shooting?
Correct.
How long were you on this case, so to speak?
About a day and a half.
Now, is that standard operating procedure to only investigate a case for a day and a half?
No.
Why did you stop investigating this case after a day and a half?
This incident occurred on a Wednesday evening. Friday morning, I was at State Police Headquarters in Middletown seizing body camera footage and mobile video footage from the cruisers involved. I was contacted by my sergeant at the time, Sergeant Ralph Soda, and he said that all state police investigations pertaining to this case had concluded, and the case was being transferred over to investigators at the Chief State's Attorney's Office in Rocky Hill, and we were to end any investigative efforts at that time.
That was fast.
Now, was this your first officer-involved shooting that you ever investigated?
No.
How many other officer-involved shootings had you investigated?
Dozens.
And typically, when you do investigate an officer-involved shooting, does your agency follow it through from beginning to end?
It does.
And that was not the case in this particular case, particular matter. Can I just have one moment, Your Honor, please?
Yes, sir.
All right. We may be done with this witness. It was a lengthy one.
Very much, sir.
Thank you.
Maybe a little bit of redirect.
Your Honor. So, Mr. Soulemane was speeding.
Correct.
Maybe he committed reckless driving.
Correct.
Changing without lanes.
Correct.
Perhaps some other infractions.
Correct.
So he deserved to be prosecuted.
Correct.
He didn't deserve to be killed, though, did he?
Objection.
Withdrawn.
Sustained.
Someone,
please, would you strike that, ma'am?
He keeps doing this.
So you talked about the taser use. Somebody who's using a taser, who's aware and has the training that you have as a trooper or police officer, they would take into consideration how far away they are from a subject they're planning on tasing, correct?
Correct.
So with respect to, you talked about how it's, I think even on direct and on cross, how the effectiveness of a taser will be affected by how close you are and how dispersed the probes deploy when they strike the person.
Correct.
So somebody who's planning on using a taser should take that into consideration, shouldn't they?
They should.
And I won't show you the photographs again of the defendant's weapon, but the conclusion is based on the math of that first magazine and the chambered round that was removed. 7 rounds were missing.
Yes.
Thank you. No, nothing further.
Anything, Mr.?
Anything on the recross?
Nothing further, thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
You're excused.
Judge saw that I was a little sleepy.
Or if I want to conclude for the day, that's fine as well.
I think we conclude for the day, unless you have a really short witness. But I think we should.
What does our height have to do with
I
anything?
want to cramp your style, sir. So I would say we should probably conclude for the day. We'll okay. So we're adjourned for today. Come tomorrow. In the meantime, please do not make up your mind or form any opinions about the evidence you've heard so far. You've heard more. You'll still hear more. Do not discuss the matter with anyone, including your fellow jurors, any of this at all. And you're not to seek out any information outside. Don't do any investigation. Or go to the scene of the incident. Do not respond to inquiries from the press. If you think that somebody is from the press, do not do that. Don't respond to inquiries from anyone about the case. And in the event you run across coverage of this matter, which could happen, avoid watching it, please. Like I told you at the beginning, we want to keep you the way you were as to this case when you got here last week.
In the dark.
Okay? I hope you have a pleasant evening. Leave your notebooks here and the marshals will collect them, okay? Thank you.
All right, objection counter is up to 5. So we are...
You may go. You're excused.
Let's go here. As they leave. We're going to jump over to the thumbnail here in just a minute and see the updates we have. If we end right now, there's time for me to get to the post office. Fingers crossed, unless Mrs. already left
to take up? No, Your Honor. Okay, thank you. We'll see you in the morning.
All right. And we're done. Okay, so we got through 2 days in 1 day, which is great, which is absolutely wonderful. Let's go take a look over at the thumbnail and see what's happening. Let's see. Go full screen. Can you see my mouse over here? Here's my mouse. There it is. All right, we have a sleepy son and a sleepy juror. The sleepy juror is running away because he got excused. The other 6 jurors are deliberating. They're still there. We have a microphone next to the juror's stand because that's how they do it in Connecticut. So we have the taser and the taser wires being passed around by the jurors. They get to hold that as well as the knife. That's nice. Let's see. We've got some evidence. We've got some bubble wrap, shrink-wrapped, bubble-wrapped evidence tape. That's where the knife was in. There's a noise warning because this court audio is so bad. Up here, let's see, we have a barber shop because everyone seems to have a really, really good haircut. Let's see, we've got a vape. Oh, it's a cell phone store. I'm sorry, it's a cell phone store. It looked like a vape store. Oh, it is a vape store. That's where they met, right? It was a vape store before she went and taught kindergarten. I cannot see what is down here. I have no idea what all this is. Let's see. Can I zoom in on this? Enhance. There we go. Okay, so we've got a shopping trolley, cell phone gifts. Don't really know what that's all about. That might have come with the picture. So you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. Up in the top right hand corner, we have the Trooper North trial with the direction, the compass north. We have a puffer jacket, pink pants. I think they're shorts. A telephone, speedy trial, and a thermometer. Why the cold? I'm not sure about the cold. You'll have to explain that one. We have the judge's gavel, which is kept in the back corner. I think by law it has to be in the courtroom, but he keeps it as far from him as possible. We have papers everywhere because everyone shuffles papers in this court constantly. The keyboard is making all sorts of non-musical notes and noises. Back here on the main, Greeners, what are you doing? Greeners. Back here on the main road, we have the police car. We have the manual, officer running with the firearm out. We've got the jacked car, which is the lift, broken window. The occupant, we've got bullet holes in the window as well. This has happened in Connecticut on I-95. We're right underneath it. We have another taser down here. So there are tasers everywhere. Basketball, meds, books. These are all the contributors. Down here on the bottom, we've got the gas station, which was the Shell station with the camera. And that pretty much takes us through day 2. So that's not bad. I'm going to cut away from that before something pops up on screen that I don't want to see. Because it was January, says Amber. Because it was January. It's a vape shop. Green says, I was putting Adam back in. Nice. Can someone please add a speed trap as who is speeding when we watch this on super speed? We've got the racing clock for the super speed, Ivy Berlin. It's up on the clothesline. Does Connecticut have open carry? Don't know, but the Lyft driver was licensed to carry, was legally carrying a firearm at the time. So we know what they have, at least concealed carry. See, tonight at 8 p.m., we do have the podcast on this channel. Please click the subscribe button, ring the bell, and then plan to be here. That'll be a lot of fun. Thomas and I will be live during that time. 8 p.m. Eastern, by the way. 8 ball for it is or not. Why can I not read this, Kisha? 8 ball for it is or it isn't a hijacking. Okay. Is it or isn't it a hijacking? We have competing opinions. Let's see. Concealed carry in Connecticut. Scissors from witness opening evidence. We might have a junk cart here soon. It just depends. It depends how things go. Plenty of open space to fill in. Yes, we've got a few more days. We're flying through court. We're trying to catch up as quickly as we can. How isn't it a hijacking? Just one. Lenova, this is an interesting question. It isn't a hijacking because the victim left the car willingly and he wasn't trying to take the car. So it was a theft of a car, but the guy got out of the car by himself. And then, so the burglary or the theft of the car happened after the assault in the car. But the assault was over, give me your phone, not give me your car. I think that's what the interesting part is. The officer or the gentleman who made that decision at the police station had none of that information at the time when he made the call. So I think based on the information he had, it should have been considered a carjacking just from like the external observer. But the defense is really trying to spin this whole thing as a FAFO situation, where this guy made some very poor decisions and basically reaped the reward. But we know already that we have mental illness involved. We know we've heard from the testimony that was most likely the victim in this case, who was also a perpetrator in many of the crimes, was not possibly taking the medication that he should have, that could have helped his situation, that he was not in his right mind, a little bit manic, paranoid, things like that. So the sad part is the officers have no idea. They're just responding to a crime. They don't know the situation. So the victim didn't say, "Give me your car," and that's why I think it might fool around to find out. That's what I'm talking about. FAFO. Thank you for the save there. Someone yelled, "The car got jacked." For those that have watched the body cam footage, and it is available, I think the Police Activity channel has the cleanest copies of that, the most complete copies, and they are, I think you see from 5 or 6 angles without editing what happened at the end of this chase. You don't see the whole police chase. You don't see everything at the gas station. You basically just you see right as they get to that underpass on I-95, and man, it's rough. It's really rough. There's 7 shots, really quick, tight group through the driver's side window. The officer that fired the shots did ask Officer Jackson to switch to less than lethal. He switched to taser because Officer Jackson had his firearm out, and he told him go taser, meaning dial back the threat or dial back the use of force. I'll keep lethal. You keep the less than lethal, and yeah. There it is. There's the screw. All right, we have to wrap up because I have to get to the post office, and if I have to run on my own little 2 feet, actually, I think my son brought the other car back, so I think I have ability to drive. I have to get to the post office today. We're going to continue this case tomorrow. I believe it is still underway. We're not going to have any spoilers, so if it does end, you don't want to be the one that tells us. I'll just put that out there right now. Love y'all, but the band hammer will be. It will be swift, and it will be, yeah. You don't want to be the person that tells us that this case is progressing or what happens. Just don't be that person. Okay, don't be that person. We love you if it is. Spoiler jail is real. It is, and it's long sentences, and I'll tell you right now. Once a timeout has been issued, I cannot retract it. I cannot say, okay, never mind. Sorry, that was a mistake. So where'd the hammer come from? This was actually a gift from Tish. Thank you. Has my name on it. See that? It says Recovery Addict. All right. Anything else? We might actually catch up before verdict. We seriously might. This trial started, we're about a week behind is all. There have been so many good cases that we've been following that we're trying to go back and catch the ones that we missed. This one was sort of flew under the radar a little bit, and so we're doing some catch up. We think it's a good one. I wish I could show you what is happening on the audio to try to make this audio sound good. For those, I think I can actually. Let me bring this over here. Let's get rid of our thumbnail briefly. And I'll bring in switcher. Okay, here we go. Let's go to camera 3. So this is my audio switcher, Fairlight audio switcher, and we've managed to switch the audio up so we can take the left channel, which we were actually only getting one channel, and we split it to both left and right ears, which is important. But check this out. This little guy right here is how I've had to shape the audio. This is baseline. This is with nothing tuned out. It just gives you a flat 0 across the board. I've taken off the whole top end, the whole bottom end, and a couple frequencies here and there for the typewriters, the loud humming, the feedback, everything else. This is just basic voice right there, and even that's trimmed down a little bit because it just bleeds into so much else. Anyway, we've done a lot of work there. Also, we've got we've just got a high pass or a low pass filter, or a limiter. Sorry. Limiter. The filters are on the other one. Anyway, so that's the work we're doing on the back end to make this sound good for y'all. And we'll continue to do that as we move on. Post office now, says Robin. Go. Okay, we'll do that. So we'll hit this button. We'll be back tonight at 8 p.m. for the podcast. 8 Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, right here. 6 p.m. Mountain. What is that, 5 p.m. Pacific? Ivan wants to know who sent him the Vikings shower curtain. I just can't remember. Ivan. All right. Let's see. I think that's it. Tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love. Smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better. And please stay safe till we go live again tonight at 8 p.m. for the podcast. It's going to be a lot of fun. I don't hear anything. All right, broke the audio. No, it's working. It's working, Greeners. You broke your own audio. All right, we'll see everyone tonight and tomorrow. Thank you, Jasmine. You've got the internet till tonight, till we go live with the podcast. Thank you all. We'll see you at 8. Have fun. Good night.
When are we going to break for lunch, Judge? Because he's the guy!
Somebody just sent me a video of roaches fighting. I don't know who won.
Our new electronic drive on Saturday. I'm so excited. See you guys. Have fun.
The zombie apocalypse may be upon us.